So, first things first, let me this just in. I just saw this morning, and if you're wondering who these two individuals are here, well, I think you know who the one on the right is, but you might not be familiar with the one on the left. That is Yvette Cooper, and she is the House or the Home Secretary, I believe. I have her YouTube up here, but this was actually what was brought to my attention. Extreme misogyny will be classified as terrorism under Yvette Cooper's plan to fight young men's radicalization. Boy, does that sound familiar. Where have I heard that one before? Well, I want to give you a little bit of background in this first. There are several charges that are already filed in the United States as well as the UK right now. And I was talking to somebody who has been tracking the case, let's say, between our good friends, the brothers case. And one of the things that I'm seeing is a little bit I think is a little bit weird and a little bit concerning is Candace Owens is still very, very on board with defending our famous brothers here. And even in the face of what everybody else would think would be like why would she even be for these guys? Well, turns out that her husband has some sort of has some sort of dealings with the brothers in the past. Of course, I've been aware of this for a while, since like about 2015, 2016. It was the Mike Cernovich days. God knows when that was. And still defending him to this day. And people are just dumbfounded as to why a dyed-in-the-wool conservative who's just sort of like this side of Nick Puentes is still defending the Tates. I mean, even Mr. Puentes has disavowed them, and I'm just like I'm still dumbfounded by it myself. Well, there's a lot of dominoes that are falling right now, and I don't think a lot of people realize that they're actually falling. So, first and foremost, I was made aware of and I think this might have been Yvette Cooper who initiated this, but I know that there was meant to be legislation or some sort of law that was supposed to be passed in English Parliament about extraditing influencers that are promulgating hate speech, let's just say. And that if you are an American blogger, or if you're or wherever you happen to be, they have the rights to extradite you and try you as a radicalizing person, whatever it is. I have no idea what the long and the short of it is, but I do know this is that the main thrust of the legislature was that they're going to extradite influencers abroad, bring them to the UK, and try them as UK citizens, or try them as I don't know, maybe for international war crimes. Who the fuck knows? I'm sure it's not going to go through. I'm sure it's probably a pipe dream at this point. But I'm like, why the fuck would they do that? And so I was having this conversation with Ryan Stone. And I'm like, I will bet you money this is just a temporary thing, or it's an attempt, anyways, to get at the Tates, because they want to be able to. They want their laws to be in some way rejiggered so that they can extradite the brothers and bring them to the UK if things go sideways in Romania, and who knows. Or they want to make sure that they get them if something doesn't happen that's acceptable. I'm like, why on earth would that be? Because I could not think of a single influencer that would qualify for the extradition process according to these laws. Right now, this is before I heard about Yvette's extreme misogyny thing, right? And how they want to turn it into a hate crime in the UK. So we start with we're going to extradite influencers who say bad things that we disagree with in the UK, and they are let's say promoting terrorism in the UK, which they're dealing with a lot of heavy shit right now in the UK, obviously. So you can sort of blame it on that, but I was thinking, you know what? But why would they extradite? Like, well, shouldn't they be like focusing on their own shit, like take care of their own house first? So I'm thinking about that, and I'm having this conversation with Ryan Stone, and I said, I will bet you any kind of money that they're going to, in some way, try to use this to get the Tates. Now, just this morning, or I think maybe it was yesterday or this morning, we have this, right? Which of extreme misogyny will be classified as terrorism under Yvette Cooper. So now, if you are an influencer abroad and you are promoting extreme terrorism or extreme misogyny, you are classified as a terrorist. And now I don't know if they can do it through international law or the European Union, or well, they're not part of the European Union, right? So how could they do that? I don't know. But the idea, anyways, is we will extradite you as an influencer, bring you to our country, and then try you for terrorism, which or for extreme misogyny, which classifies as terrorism. So therefore, you are radicalizing. You're like an imam, right? You're like an imam that's radicalizing young Muslim men to go strap bombs to themselves and blow up. Well, in this case, all the women you possibly can, because it's like that's supposed to be like the red pill religion, right? We're all extreme extremists like that all of a sudden. And honestly, I think that the reason why they're doing this is simply so that they get dibs at the Tates if things go sideways in Romania. So whether or not you're a fan of the Tates, whether you're not a fan of the Tates, this is not an endorsement. This is not a disavowal. This is just me pointing out the obvious. I just work here, man. I'm just showing you what's going on. These are the mechanics going on right here. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because this is not too dissimilar from bullshit that's been going on with diverting hate, the DHS, the McCain Institute, the Arizona State University. And I'm still dumbfounded by the fact that I'm still being shadow banned. I've lost my Access Vegas, monetization, and essentially I have been demonetized, although in everything except for an official statement, right? And I'll tell you why, because I could show you. I can't really bring it up here right now, but I can show you my stats and my analytics for the last 6 to 8 months. And you can see exactly where they have initiated the shadow banning, where they have initiated the diverting of my traffic to individuals such as Justin Baldoni. Hold that thought. And essentially I've done everything to cut off my oxygen. Now, fortunately I'm in a good position right now where I've got my own personal studio. I've got Kyle here. I'm not in any. This is more like me doing outreach and continue my classes here. But does anybody think I'm an imam, radicalizing young incels to go and to perform acts of violence? I mean, because to me on the surface it's ridiculous. I've got the interest of an individual. I'm not going to name names right now, but I have an individual who is a lobbyist. And she is presently helping me sort of make this case for a civil suit or civil action right now. Now, I don't know anything about this, and this is not me just like blowing smoke out my ass. There's also Representative Elijah Crane, who is the congressman from Arizona, who is well aware of this kind of stuff, because the NGO Diverting Hate is not the only NGO that's been doing this. And there are other NGOs that are doing exactly the same thing, trying to choke the free, like essentially it's a civil rights violation is what this is. It's a violation of my First Amendment right to free speech, and like using taxpayer dollars to do so. Now, I don't know how things work in the UK, but I do know that Yvette Cooper is a publicly elected official, or has been at least appointed as a publicly elected official. And I'm well aware, by the way, that her husband, Ed Ball, is also deep in the weeds in the Treasury and everything else in the UK politics as well. So take that however you want. I think that there might be a connection between maybe money laundering charges against the UK government. Maybe there's something that they don't want people to know. I don't know. Again, speculating here. I'm not putting on the tinfoil hat. I'm just telling you what I. Well, I'm just following the money, actually.